The Paul Pelosi break-in story continues to confuse and baffle, but I think we finally discovered what's really behind it. And as Joe Biden would say, it can all be summed up in one word: Democrat desperation. You're not going to want to miss this. According to the official police reports, a mentally disturbed drug addict named David DePape broke into Paul Pelosi's San Francisco home early Friday morning, demanding to see Nancy. At some point, Paul Pelosi excused himself from DePape by saying he needed to use the bathroom. It just so happens that that's where he was conveniently charging his phone. And so at approximately 2:30 a.m., Paul Pelosi called 911 on his cell phone. This is the recording of the police dispatch immediately following that call.
A priority 910, 2640 Broadway, cross of Scott and Normandy. I have a 14-hour copy. RP stated that there's a male in the home and that he's going to wait for his wife. RP stated that he doesn't know who the male is, but he advised that his name is David and that he is a friend. RP sounded somewhat confused. 12 over back and copy.
Units code 3 at 2640 Broadway per 14-hour.
Ever 12 over copy. 15-hour also code 3.
Ever 112 advice insufficient units on scene 2640 Broadway. Special call medic 66, location 2640 Broadway.
Now, you'll notice obviously here that according to the dispatcher, Paul Pelosi knew the intruder's name and said that he was a friend. Now, for whatever reason, San Francisco police have not released the tape of Paul Pelosi's original 911 call so that we could confirm that that is exactly what he told police, that this fellow David, whose name he obviously communicated to the dispatcher, was his friend. Now, I'm not making any insinuations here. I'm only saying that that is very weird. How did Paul Pelosi know David DePape's name, and why did he refer to him as a friend? The dispatcher clearly stated that Pelosi sounded confused, given that he said he didn't know him, but knew his name and that he's a friend. So yeah, clearly there's some confusion there. But now we're being told, no, Pelosi did not know him, and he certainly wasn't a friend. So the part about Pelosi not knowing him is true, but then how did he know his name, and why did he claim DePape was his friend in the privacy of his bathroom? Confusing doesn't even begin to explain it, but that, ironically, is where the confusion actually just begins. Now we're being told that both men were not in their underwear when police arrived, only Paul Pelosi was. The initial report came from a Fox affiliate, KTVU, which has since retracted that report, saying that they misrepresented the police account that said DePape was simply in his shorts. So no, Pelosi didn't know him, even though he told police his name and that he was a friend. And secondly, only one of them was in his underwear while DePape was in his shorts, whatever that means. Thirdly, what about this call from the bathroom? Why would a guy who just broke into your home demanding to see Nancy let you leave his sight, lock the door behind you, and perhaps escape through a window? Why would he do that? And why would you conveniently have a cell phone charging in the bathroom? Look, I've been to a number of people's homes, and frankly, I've never seen a cell phone charging in the bathroom, okay? But then things get even stranger. For example, why was it so easy for this fellow DePape to break into the Pelosi's home? The house has a top-notch security system replete with multiple security cameras. How does someone just waltz right in at 2:30 in the morning? Where were the people that were supposed to be monitoring those security cameras? And why haven't they released those tapes of the break-in? Why haven't they released the police body cam footage of when they first encountered Pelosi and DePape? I mean, the bizarre silence surrounding the police account is almost as bizarre as the account itself. But there's even more here. It gets stranger. Here's what Tucker Carlson had to say about it.
The story around the attack on Paul Pelosi in San Francisco last Friday night, we couldn't, and we still can't. It's not gotten any clearer in the past 24 hours. Police in San Francisco, for reasons that are not clear and not defensible, are still refusing to release the body camera footage, which would answer most questions. And now there are more questions about why the Pelosi home was supposedly unguarded that night. According to CBS News, after January 6th, Nancy Pelosi moved hundreds of Capitol Hill police officers to field offices in Tampa and San Francisco. Did you know that? She's got her own police force now? The point was to protect members of Congress, presumably from Donald Trump's QAnon army. So there was a field office of the Capitol Hill Police in San Francisco, according to this news account, and yet somehow there was no security at the Speaker of the House's home on Friday night? It doesn't make sense at all. You know what doesn't make sense either? Is the supposed blog of the man accused, David DePappy. Take a look at it. It reads like a left-wing activist idea of what a QAnon extremist would post. So this guy was homeless, mentally ill, and addicted to drugs. Who paid to register the site? The first time the site appeared on archiving services was the day of the attack. What does that mean? Like, how could you explain that? Maybe there's a good explanation. I'm not alleging anything. Just asking questions, as they say, but those are fair questions to ask. But no one in the media is going to ask those questions. Why?
Does any of this add up to you? Of course not. None of it. This has to be, without question, one of the most bizarre, baffling, and bewildering stories imaginable. None of it makes any sense. Literally, nada, nothing. So what does the legacy media have to say about this? Well, what they have to say, I believe, is a clue as to what's really going on here. But first, our good friends over at Goldco are here to help you protect your savings amidst all this economic insanity with the timeless values of gold and silver. Make sure to click on that link below and see how you can get upwards of $10,000 of free silver if you open up an account with them. But that is a limited time offer, so don't wait. Click on the link below right now and keep your assets safe with the timeless value of gold. So, what's the legacy media saying in response to the grotesquely bizarre details that have thus far emerged from the San Francisco police? Well, you know the answer. Nothing. None of the freakish facts seem to bother the legacy media in the least. In fact, the more common people ask questions, the more the media accuses them of peddling in right-wing conspiracy theories. Instead of the media probing and investigating and getting to the bottom of an obviously absurd and insane story about the third most powerful person in the nation, the person next in line to becoming president after Kamala Harris, heaven help us all. Instead, we're the ones, citizens are the ones who are left asking the questions. And the moment we begin making our inquiries public, the legacy media fires back, "Back off, insurrectionist! We're in charge of the facts here. Facts you will learn about on an as-needed basis. Who are you to inquire or question the facts that we, the mainstream media, the guardians of democracy, have reported thus far? If they don't make sense to you, well, what do you expect, you knuckle-dragging deplorable? You're reading too much QAnon." It's no wonder Jeremy Boring tweeted out, quote, "Journalism is dead. 20 years ago, every major publication would have had boots on the ground chasing the facts in the Paul Pelosi story, questioning the narrative, interviewing everyone even tangentially connected, demanding transparency and the release of calls and footage." What happened? Well, I think Rising Serpent said it best when he tweeted out, quote, "Isn't it amazing how the media hasn't figured out the Jan 6 pipe bomber, the Supreme Court leaker, a single one of Epstein's clients, the motive of the Las Vegas shooter, but they knew Paul Pelosi's midnight visitor was MAGA even before both could put their underwear back on." I think that hits the nail on the head, no pun intended. Our legacy media is working in tandem with the Democratic Party to try to successfully weaponize this break-in as indicative of the kind of extremist violence that the ultra-MAGA Republican Party is fostering in our nation. And lo and behold, look what we have here. It's just been announced that Joe Biden is going to go back to his Emperor Palpatine character. He's going to put the blood red lights back on, and he's going to deliver a speech to the nation tomorrow night, Wednesday evening, warning the American people of the violence behind the Republicans they're about to vote into office and the threat they collectively pose to the future of democracy. This is happening. This is really the Democrats actually believe that the attack on Paul Pelosi is going to finally galvanize the American people against the Republicans. In other words, what the J6 committee failed to do, what the original blood red speech failed to do, what the call to save Roe v. Wade failed to do, what redefining recession failed to do, they think Paul Pelosi will do. This is really happening. This is the modern Democratic Party. They actually believe this is going to work. Weaponizing Pelosi's break-in, they believe, will function effectively as an October surprise that inordinately affects the election results in their favor. And Joe Biden is going to be their spokesman. All of this, all of it smacks of total desperation. We may never know what really happened at the Pelosi house that night, given the complicity of the legacy media with the messaging of the Democratic Party. But we sure know political collapse when we see it. As always, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. You will definitely want to check out my latest video on a massive shakeup in a battleground race that has the Democrats in deeper trouble than they ever imagined. You're going to absolutely love it. So make sure to click on that link, and I'll see you over there. God bless.